Well, hello everybody. We're in my garage again. Apologize for this video being late. There just hasn't been a whole lot really going on. I have been doing some little things. Still waiting on the ECU to return from ACES in order to get this running. There is snow on the ground outside. I had wanted to change fuel filters on my Dodge, but since this can't move, I'm not going to change them in the snow out there, so that's a project for later. This thing, big green, is all covered with sawdust because I made a speaker box. I'll show it to you. It's sitting right here right now. Down here, there you go. This speaker came out of a boom tube, and I used the parts to make a speaker that would fit underneath the seat. Now, I'm telling you guys, I think I did it right because I measured the cubic inches of air in that boom tube, and then I matched it with the cubic air in the box. Because I know the speaker needs enough space to sound right and to move the air. And so I mimicked that, and I put the vent in it that was in the boom tube. And the only thing that I did differently was I had to cut this down half an inch lower than I anticipated. So I did take out a few cubic inches, but not a whole lot. And now it fits below my seat. So I'll get it wired in there when and if I get a stereo. Kind of put the cart before the horse there, but I got a lot of good suggestions on where to put the stereo, so I'm still working on that idea. The other project is this right here. This is a very large plant stand. It's going to have wheels. The holes down that you see down here, the dimpled eye holes, they're going to be covered with screen. And the idea is eventually it will actually have soil in it and some large plants. My wife really likes plants. She's got a whole ton in the house. And that's what this is going to be for. For a while, it would just have large pots sitting in it while she gets an idea where she wants it and everything. It's going to be painted, of course. The inside's going to be lined so that water doesn't come out. But I ran out of gas in my MIG welder, so we're kind of done welding and building on it for a little while. I do have a TIG welder, and I'm going to bring that out and do some of the things I can do with the TIG welder on it. I'm not a really good TIG welder, but that is what gets you better, is by continually trying to work. So the other issue I've got, or thing I got going on, I don't know if you can see it in there, the heater box. You saw me pull that out and fix a leak on it. Now that was actually the second time I fixed the leak. It's along a seam, and it fixed it for about a week. And then the last drive I did in testing the ECU on this, it started leaking again. So that seam, I think, is just continuing to split down the whole heater core. And I don't know why I'd do that. It's only 80 years old, but you know. The plan is just to remove that box and put in a combo heater air conditioning unit. And that is a real problem, or it's going to be a troubleshooting issue in here, because this glove box has got to go away. The vent handle for the vent on the cowl has got to go away, and this is in the way as well. So, oh, got my bright light on there. Let me get it off for a minute. There we go. The situation I'm looking at is I can use an under dash unit with all of those things moved, or I can get a small dash unit that will fit right behind the glove box. And that way I'll be able to duct the air kind of where I want it. And if I can find a unit that will fit up there, that's what we'll go with. But it's not very deep. We have about 14 inches maximum depth to work with. So that's gonna be tough. All right, what am I doing today? I'm getting caught on some of the stuff I'm walking around. That's a good question. But one of the small things that cropped up when I built this truck, and you get these things all the time when you custom do something, especially if you've never done it before. I mean, I built the Nightmare Mustang from the ground up, but in this one, I put the horn. I didn't want the horn button on the steering wheel because the original steering wheels never had a horn. There is no wiring that runs up through this column. The blinker wiring runs down right beside it and then up in. And eventually they put a horn up here because it is springy and things do that, but there's no horn mechanisms in this 46 truck at all. So what I did was I put it on the floorboard. Can you see it up there? Now that looks like it's a good place and it's out of the way, but it's not. It's actually, my foot sits right here. And I have to, before I find the horn button, half the time I'm stepping on the high beam button instead of the horn button. So I'm gonna bring that horn button down about 4 inches, stick it just off the side of the steering column a little bit. I think I'll have to see what's down there because there's some reinforced metal for that steering column to fit through. And so that's what I'm gonna do today. It's nothing major, but it's gonna be a little troubleshooting, a little work, and another hole in this mat. Oh, I wanted to show you. This hole right here is the original steering wheel hole. None of the holes in this mat were in the right place. 0. Yet it said it was for this year truck. But that's just the way this stuff is nowadays. I mean, you do the best you can. You get what you can get. And unless it's an original part, which there are no more original parts for these flying, hanging around, that's what happens. So I'm going to get the hood up and start looking at what I can do to move that horn button. All right, let's get the hood open. The 46 does have a safety catch. You got to reach in there and push with your finger. Right there. It was the only thing that would hold the hood shut when I got the truck. And my struts don't like the cold weather. They just sag. I mean, they sag a little bit in the heat too, but really bad in the cold weather. So that horn button's way down there. Let's look. Can you see it down in there? Boy, I really can't. I'm gonna get a creeper. Maybe we can see it from underneath. Wow, this is gonna be a little more of a project than I anticipated. I don't know if you can see it, but right up there to that side of the steering column is the horn button. Huh. Yeah, that's not accessible from down here or really from up top. I am going to get up in the cab and hopefully I left the wires long enough that I can pull that button into the cab. That would be good, and then it will end up moving it down. There's a couple of plugs I see here and here. They're at least halfway down the floorboard below the steering column, but maybe we can use that one so long as it's not right next to the headlight switch. I guess we'll go in and find out. All right, here we go. Inside. This is the high beam. That's the horn. And I have got a lot of This is sound deadener and heat shield, which is pretty thick, and then it's got the butyl vibration dampener stuff behind that. So the cab is well insulated from heat and sound of the motor, but we're gonna have to cut out around this because this is very sticky. Doesn't want to come up. We're gonna cut around this, see where the screws are, pull them out, and get her done. Because it's so crowded in here, I'll probably just show it to you once I get that out of the way, and hopefully have the button where we need it. Got that cut. See if I can get it to come off. Oh, that's got good sticky on it. Holy cow. That is not wanting to move very well. Here it comes. Oh, if I sound funny, I got a cold or flu, I don't know. But I'm not spreading it around. I think I got it from a guy at the vet. Took my dog to the vet yesterday. Dude sitting near me says he's not sick, he just has a tickle in his throat. Yeah. Well, now I have a tickle in my throat too. So thank you for coming to the vet sick, fella. All right, I can feel where the screws are. There's one up here in this corner. There's one down here in this corner. Let's cut through the. All right, why can I only find one of the screws? It's been long enough since I put this in that I don't recall whether it has a bolt that, or a big nut that screws down over the push or not. Over the button. The button cover doesn't seem to want to pop off. I don't really want to break it. I thought it was held in with a couple of screws because I have a screw right here. But I don't see any other screw. So I don't think that screw is what's holding it on there. So we'll just remove all this sound deadening right around it and see what we get. All right, we got the horn button figured out a little bit. There we are right there. And this cap had just screwed on. So I started twisting, just screws right off. There's a nut right there. Now that one's holding the button up, which means when I take that nut out, it's just going to fall back in. And there's the headers in the way, there's the brake booster, there's brake lines, there's the master plug and all the electrics that run down there. I don't know how I'm going to reach it, but I'm going to drill a hole below it, undo that nut, push it through, find some way to fish it back up that hole, or maybe I can get at it with a tool or something. I definitely can't get my hand in there, and I'll try to push it back through the hole, and then we'll have the horn button moved without even undoing any wires, hopefully. But that's what I'm going to try. Well, I think we're ready to go here. Gigantic drill bit, too small a hole punch, but all these holes I had to cut out after things were in here. I'm just kind of guessing where the mat would lay up against them, and I made a mess of it. So this time I'm going to punch the hole, and then I'm going to drill where the hole's at. And that way the hole will be directly over my horn button, I hope. So I'm just going to punch a hole right there with a too small hole punch. Oh, I think that'll be good. That's close to the steering column. I know I need to be close to avoid some things over here. And hopefully that's not so close that I can't hit it every time. And it's not too far down that I'm going to just be resting my foot on it. My hole punch is very old and not very sharp, I can see that. But might be just making dents. So we'll forego that and just try to drill through it. That's gonna wrap up on everything. Oh man. Oh, this is gonna be good, guys. Oh, it just ate right through. I like it. Now let's see where that's hitting, and we'll try to be a little. Oh, of course it's wandering. Let's see, we got to do the lower. Let me get a punch and really hammer that with a punch. I don't want this to wander all over under there. I want it to go through right there. Ow. Now hopefully the bit will not wander away from that spot. But I'm not holding my breath. Yep. Now when it catches, it's gonna wrap this drill. Maybe I just set the drill against the edge over here, and that way when it catches, it doesn't try to twist my arm off. Let's see, no, it's gonna twist it that way, isn't it? All right, here we go. Oh, that went better than I thought. Far better. I expected to get caught, whip around, try to tear my arm off, you know, do all that sort of stuff. That worked out far better. All right, I do have a hole there now. Just kind of making sure it's big enough. And I didn't drill through anything. All right. Now the job is to get that button out and back in the other hole. Oh, goody. And to answer all your questions, couldn't I have found a shorter drill bit? Nope. That's the shortest one I have in 5/8. What do you think that nut is? You think it's 1 inch? Oh no, it's much smaller. More like 7/8. Seems smaller than 7/8. It will be 13/16, so I got a 6-point socket, and it should. Well, I thought for sure it'd drop over that. 7/8 is a bit sloppy, so I know it's a metric, but I'm too lazy to find out which metric one it is now, so I'll just, because I know that nut's not on there really tight, it's just holding the button up. Should be able to, hopefully it's spinning and the wires aren't twisting under there. Alright, it's coming really easily, so the wires aren't twisting and it's not spinning. That's a good thing. Actually, it has a flat right here, I see. So that might be keeping it from spinning. Maybe I was smart enough to drill it one size smaller and then file it out and put a flat side on my hole up here. I didn't do that down here, but that's all right. Nut is off. Using my bent screwdriver there to pry that off. All right, there it is. Now it's got to go down here. Honk. I'm gonna put this on there just a little bit so I got something to push against. Get it a few threads on, and then I should be able to just put a smaller socket on there and push on it. Something like that one. There it goes. Almost all the way down. I'll tell you what, a modern cab has so much more room in it. It's got so much more stuff, but so much more room. When you're working, these old cabs are narrow. All right, got that almost pushed through. I still don't know how I'm gonna get it up through this hole, but I'm at least gonna get it out of this one. And then we'll figure the rest of that out. There it is, it's gone. All right. I'm gonna slide underneath it again and see if with maybe a claw tool I can't grab it and get it at least started up in this hole. Got to get it pushed up there pretty good. Might have to cut this out around it. And definitely gonna have to plug this hole. I know that's a 5/8 hole that I'll have to plug. And we'll go from there, but I'm gonna go underneath and see what I see. Got a plug for this one. Now this hole, I've been trying to shove the button through, the horn button. I can barely reach it by taking off my jacket and shoving my arm up through between the header and the frame and then around the steering column. And I can barely touch it with my fingertips. And I can get it started in this hole, but it's not coming through. So I'm gonna make a little noise here and make that hole just a fraction bigger. And I only did it on this 3/4 of it because I'm okay with leaving this the flat, because that's where that flat on the threads is on this side. So I'm going to try to push it up now, and if I can get it up, great. If not, I will do a little more sanding. Well, I think I succeeded. It's just barely sticking through there. Grab it here without knocking it out. There we go. Pull it the rest of the way. The threads are, oh my God, right to the end. I mean, not the threads, excuse me, the wiring. The wiring comes from up here on the other side, bulkhead fitting. The horn wire runs down and comes to here. And when I wire things, I try to make them really tidy and not have a lot of excess wire. So it was here. Now it's 4 to 5 inches lower, and the wire is stretched to its limit. I actually had to remove it from the wire loom and hope that it oh, don't fall back there. Hope that it will actually allow me to tighten things up without issue. It may just decide at the last minute it's not wanting to stretch and just let go, and all this will be for naught, because there's no way I can reach that wire or the button to put a wire on the back of it. So if it breaks, we'll take the button completely out, put new wires on the button, and once we've got that done, we'll just lower it down in there and put it in the hole and run the wires back up and plug them back in where they belong. All right, I'm trying to get the washer over it, hold the button up, and get this nut started all at the same time here. So my head's in your way, or my arms, and you can't see what's going on. But we might be making progress. There it goes. Yay. All right. Let's try to pull it up a little bit and hopefully not overstretch the wire. That flat has actually ended up down there. It didn't, but I can keep an eye on it now, so I know if I'm turning the nut or the whole unit. You can see it is trying to turn the whole unit. I think we're going to go with that. Let's see where the button is. I do have the old insulation, kind of go back in there, a little bit of it anyway. A little more of it anyway. All right, let's see if that'll go down on there. All right, looks like everything's gonna work. Just trying to pull it up here tight enough. That should do it. If the button sticks through far enough. Right there. Horn button. Oh, what a struggle that was. Wouldn't have been so bad if it hadn't been so cold out here, but we got her in. It's a win. Get out and work on your stuff, guys. Have fun. Be good to each other.